I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AJ and the Queen fans. We are here to discuss Season 1, Episode 8, Baton Rouge. I am your host, 123 Jackie B. With me, as always, the fabulous Lorraine Love, a.k.a. Mark J. Freeman.
You said fabulous. I thought you were going to say Ali Drennan.
Oh, no.
I thought she was talking about me.
Everyone is fabulous. Jayla Roxx is fabulous.
Hey, I'm back in the building.
Drennan is fabulous.
And you are fabulous, Jackie.
Oh, thank you guys. You're so sweet. So this episode, I thought the theme was the importance of found family, because we have like so many scenes and flashbacks that you have the found family between AJ and Ruby. You have it between Ruby or Robert and Lewis, and then you have it between Brianna and the doctors or nurses who become her found family. So that was my theme for the episode. Thoughts about this episode?
I really liked it. I liked the kind of juxtaposition with like how hospitals can be a place of great like love, like having birth of AJ, but also they could be this time of sadness when AJ was kind of swept away by, social services. So it was a very touchy subject that's very relatable, because hospitals can be just a very touchy subject that can trigger you in a sense, which we definitely saw with AJ.
Yeah. From a production standpoint, I have to say I love this episode because of like the parallel, the back and forth, and we got so many. I guess since there was only 10 episodes, this is the time now. Like even with episode 7, all right, let's start tying up these loose ends, I guess. So this is the way to get the answers that we needed, get the answers I've always been texting y'all asking. So Weddy, but I thought it was a great episode, and Baton Rouge was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was one of my favorites.
I was just a little bit bummed. As amazing and perfect and wonderful as this episode was for all the reasons you guys said, I was a little bummed that we didn't actually get to see a drag show that was in Baton Rouge. I mean, we have a drag show in the flashback to like a Mimi in St. Louis thing, but I was kind of looking for like a Louisiana.
Well, we got
show.
the little drag at the end, which we'll talk about when Robert comes in his disguise, which I loved.
I love that too.
Yeah.
So most of the episode, the A roll of the episode, the not flashback portion of the episode, is AJ and Ruby in the hospital. So the episode starts off with Ruby, aka Robert, pushing AJ in a swing, and then he pushes her too high, and then she falls, and then she has to be rushed to the hospital, where she's like kind of feigning that she's not actually hurt because she doesn't want to be there. It turns out because she was taken away by social services the last time she was in the hospital. So
that's like one of my biggest fears, though, like getting pushed off of a swing. Like maybe I didn't have a great childhood, but I can count on many times in my life how many times I've been on the swing. Just because of that reason. Like, what if I fall and break myself?
Wasn't that AJ's first time on the... I don't know if they said that, but okay, thought so. But that was cute.
I was like, same, girl, same.
So this episode kind of brings in that same feeling of anxiety that we've had all season with certain scenarios. And I was... it got to that real scary boiling point, because you do, in the end of the episode, have people pretty much, they are calling social services. They're saying, like, what's going on here? Because I kept thinking as I was watching, I was like, oh, please let them get away with it this time. Please let them get away with it, But so Ruby first starts raising eyebrows Robert, when he's filling out the forms. They take AJ back to scan her, and he's filling out the forms, and he doesn't know any of the information. And he's also kind of like talking out loud, and there's a lady like knitting across from him who's giving him the side eye and being nosy. And so he tries to text Lady Glitter Butterfly Top and ask and ask questions about her health to try and get those answers. But yeah, he gets himself into a kind of messy situation where then he ends up saying that he's AJ's a pageant girl and he's her coach, which then this lady who he's talking to, this nurse, she shows her pictures of, and can't remember if it's her like niece, granddaughter.
It's her granddaughter.
And she has those big scary teeth, and he was like, maybe lose the fake teeth and they're her real teeth. That little exchange is like, and I was still hoping he would get away with it because I was like, oh, that's such a good cover. Like, they're in a pageant town, everybody seems to buy this. But then when he goes in and he talks to the social services lady, he starts telling her the truth. And he's carrying around money in a plastic baggie, and he wants to pay for everything in cash. And I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Now, can you accept cash at the hospital?
I
feel
know.
like these days
I
not
never tried.
anymore.
I never tried either.
I feel like
Grabbing
nobody
that
takes
amount
cash anymore.
is shady. You know, it's kind
Well,
of like,
it's not just that it was that amount. It's the fact that he was carrying it in a plastic bag. So it made it look kind of even shadier. It's like, why don't you have your money in a wallet?
it gave me
the counterfeit. It was the counterfeit money.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ozark vibes. Another amazing Netflix show.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
Ozark?
Uh-uh.
So good.
It's so good.
Never seen it.
You guys should see it.
Yep.
I do like that the counterfeit money is coming into play because we were wondering at that, like, she is down to no money. So it's like, how does she do anything? Okay, so now she's paying for the hospital bills with counterfeit money.
That's a bold thing because my thing is like another one of my biggest fears is going to like the gas station and I'm just like, I just know I'm rich shit. Can I get $10 on 10? And they take the money and because people always look at me crazy when I give them more than $20 anyway. So they're looking at me, and they look at the bill, and they look at me again, and then they do this. They flap it and then they hold it up into the sky to see if they see the little president, and then they'll accept it. Like so, they were just too nice at this. But I guess for the sake of the show, we all love everybody. You know,
it's the camp. You forgot the marker when you like mark the
right,
$100
the yellow.
bill.
Yeah, if it turns black,
This is real.
Well, it's a small town hospital. I guess they take cash and they don't check their bills.
And they definitely love Instagram. They definitely hold that to a high standard, which kind of relates back to pageantry and how it's all about presentation. And obviously this presentation that AJ and Robert are kind of putting on in this isn't really at all pageantry. It looks very messy. So it was a fun episode, but definitely kind of kept us on our toes of what's going to happen next.
And then AJ meets this aspiring drag queen. I'll call him
Christian.
Yes, Christian. What was his?
Patty Cakes.
Patty Cakes. Yes.
Also had an Instagram.
Right.
Loved Instagram in this episode.
But I do love that as much as like Ruby was trying to talk to him to like kind of get something out of him to help, to have him help. In the end, she was like, you know what? If you're brave enough to put on like a dress and a wig and makeup, you are a drag queen. And I liked that because I like that kind of like boosting up of the amateur drag queen, which I thought was like a nice touch.
Yeah, and drag queens always say it doesn't matter what your face looks like. Go out there, know your words, right?
Yeah, just know
Lorraine
your
knows her words, even if you look busted.
Oh, where is the shave button? That's another show.
So in this episode, Lady Danger gets arrested for impersonating Lorraine Brocco, and they actually bring Lorraine Bracco in.
Yes, which I was today years old that Lorraine Brocco was an actual person. And don't hate me, I've never seen Sopranos, and maybe I was watching the Power Rangers at that time. So yeah, but I did do some Googling, and I was like, oh, this is not like a made up name; it's an actual person. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, she played the doctor on. She plays Tony Soprano's doctor on The Sopranos. But
She's been in a lot of things.
yeah, it's just funny because I guess I was not expecting her to catch up to them, and it turns out she was filming in the area, and the guy puts down the card, and he's like, Lorraine Bracco, and she's like, I'm Lorraine Bracco.
I just love everyone in the show. All the actors can have they don't take the show too serious. Like, they can laugh at themselves. Like, clearly no one really knew who, like, Lorraine Brocco really was. And she's like, you don't know who I am? So it was just, it's nice that they can kind of throw shade at themselves a little bit. Because she's not a household name.
Please welcome our guest, Lorraine Brocco.
We're never going to get Lorraine Brocco in here.
I was watching Power Rangers with Jayla.
Okay,
Sorry.
right.
Or Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was a little too young for Sopranos, but then I went back and watched it, you guys.
gotcha.
It's funny to me though that they like picked Lorraine Brocco. I was wondering if I was wondering how that process worked, because it seems like I know they picked her because not many people might off the top of their head know who she is. If you say, oh, it's the person who played the doctor in The Sopranos,
Right.
then people will be like, okay, but they might not recognize her name, which made it kind of a perfect character for Lady Danger to be impersonating. But I was like, there's tons of like people out there in the world who are on shows that are like that.
Who would you kind of do if you had a credit card to kind of scam? What name would you throw?
I don't know, actually.
Ja-
maybe I'd pick a Broadway. Maybe I'd pick a Broadway star.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks. You look like Elizabeth Banks.
But actually, Elizabeth, I used to live in Brentwood, where Elizabeth Banks does live, and I saw her at Whole Foods once, and I was like, "It's Jessie Spano." I don't actually look like her.
I think you do.
See
There's
my
resemblance,
She
family resemblance.
I think you look more like Elizabeth Banks. What? It's the hair.
She has really curly hair, and she's actually very tan these days.
I had the pleasure, since we're dropping her name, I worked with her last week, and she's really great. So,
Well, then you do know. Maybe I guess she does look like me now.
maybe.
When I saw her, she had really curly hair and she was tan, so I'm not very tan.
Yeah, she was feeling herself. You're pretty quiet.
Oh, he's looking at the chat.
He's looking up Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell, and Jessie
Okay, because
Spano.
I realized you guys are talking about different. You said Elizabeth Banks. You're talking about Elizabeth Berkley. I was like, you guys are talking about two different people.
See, y'all
He
gonna get
said
me
you
in
look like
jail.
Elizabeth Banks,
So I know who's
who's
off the
in
bank.
the
Okay,
Pitch Perfect
Elizabeth
movies.
Banks. You meant Elizabeth
And
Banks.
you said Elizabeth
I meant
Berkley because you said Jessie
Berkley.
Spano. Wait a minute, that's not the same
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Berkeley
That's what I was
is
googling.
Showgirls,
Sorry.
Know Me Malone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks. I could see me
Yes,
looking like
yes.
Elizabeth
Yeah.
Banks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering.
Sorry.
Rita.
It's
I
like
was like, I look
I
like
had to
Jessie
fix that.
Spano. I don't think so.
That is very funny. Wow.
Yes.
Crack the
Joseph
code.
Boza said,
We're
press
sorry,
your
you
luck
guys.
for
This
ABC.
is AfterBuzz TV for AJ and the Queen.
We're trying to get away with crime here, okay?
Okay.
So Damien ends up with. So Lady Danger is arrested. Damien's by himself with the car with Lady Danger's bag, and he gets mad and like throws it, and then finds out there's a false bottom and there's cash inside. So Damien ends up with a bag full of cash, which.
After he let like some of it fly away, I was like, I hate when that happens on shows and movies. You just sit there and look at it and go, no. I would be like straight on, like slip and slide
Won't you
all
grab
over the
it?
concrete
What's
and
happening?
like gathering it. I don't know.
We know he needs to get his car fixed, and he's letting the cash fly away. Shame.
That's all he wanted.
For shame.
All he wanted was a false bottom.
Well, I know a
He's
few.
been waiting. He's been waiting
I
the
know
whole
a few
episode to say
false
that.
bottoms.
Ollie is like writing this joke with like hearts around it, and it was on a dream board.
That's
No,
all he
I'm
actually
not.
wrote.
No, I'm not.
That's all he actually wrote on the paper.
False bottom in
False
big
bottom,
bold words.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is our word of the week. False bottom.
Ding.
So we also have these beautiful flashbacks with Ruby and Lewis performing. And we see how Lewis lost his eyesight. He eats a bunch of donuts on stage in a performance and goes into a diabetic coma and then gets rushed to the hospital. And then it turns out that he's blind. I appreciated that we learned how Lewis became blind. I love all of the flashbacks and all of the modern conversations that they have together to kind of show how strong their friendship is, and it ties into that theme of the importance of found family and how like they're always there for each other, and how Ruby is like in the hospital in her giant dress, just like waiting for Lewis to get better.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
It was holiday time, Christmas season, right?
Yeah. Plus, we all have been loving these like performances, and
Yes.
it's kind of wondering like what is Rue gonna do next for
Yeah.
a performance. So that was fun as well. And then in the end, we have that scene that Mark loves, where Ruby decides to change into
Christians
into a drag.
Yeah.
And to be able to rush AJ out of the hospital. I actually, when I was watching this, because I knew she was going to change, I was like, okay, she's going to change into drag and she's going to pretend to be AJ's mom. And then I realized, oh yeah, but she doesn't look like AJ,
Right.
so that then starts the whole cycle of the problem over again. So I like that I was kind of like pleasantly surprised by what transpired. And they had this whole side story where they make up the name of some mom who's a stripper, and they call, and like the stripper actually like exists there and is like headed
Destiny or
in
something?
Destiny, yeah. And what was the place? I wrote down the name of the place because Booby Trap,
Oh yeah, and the guy knew it, of course.
right?
Yeah,
And the guy
the doctor.
knew what it was.
Something about an Asian man with a like Cajun accent it's sexy to me. Did you guys like catch that?
I was like, oh, yeah.
okay, I'm here
Yeah.
for it. A little Bayou talk. I'm here for it.
The accents were fun. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this whole episode, there have been a lot of Southern accents this whole season, so that's been kind of fun to watch. And then we also learn that AJ is named Amber Jasmine, not after what she's been saying,
Yeah.
which is like a stripper and a racist Disney princess, but she's named after the two ladies who delivered her. And so I kind of, I was like hoping that in the future that AJ would find out that this is what she's named after, because she feels so disappointed in so many things, and her name is one of them. And so I was like, oh, I want you to feel happy that these two ladies were, like, that's who you were named after, these two ladies who delivered you.
When she didn't literally, I remember when Brianna came into the hospital, she was by herself, and all she had were those two women, Amber and Jasmine. And I have to give credit to Katarina, who plays Brianna. I think we've been sleeping on her because she's really been playing multiple roles in like throughout the season. We see her drugged out sex worker. We see her giving birth, and we see her loving her daughter, and we'll see her in other moods later on in these episodes. So I think she's been an incredible actor, really portraying this character who has been through so much stuff in her life. So I just really enjoyed her performance. I just want to say that. Thank you, Katarina. I'm bummed we didn't get her on the carpet.
No, she got past us. Probably because I was shuffling drag queens.
It was okay. Those were great interviews. It was meant to be.
Do you guys have any last thoughts before we move over to Fan of the Week and Quote?
You got to raise up Lorraine's Raven interview. 100,000 videos.
Yeah, I don't know where
Yes.
we're at 61 last time I
It's
looked.
amazing.
All you have to do is just like open up a whole bunch of tabs on your
I'll
YouTube
keep hitting play.
and just keep hitting play and just let it run all night. We'll
Shout
get
out to
there.
the chat. Ken29, Joseph Boza. Chucky
Yes.
Chuck is like wondering where and who is AJ's dad. You know? Interesting.
Season 2.
Yeah, we'll find out in the season 2
Yeah,
mark. Maybe that'll be something that we get to figure out.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm about to give you the Fan of the Week, but if you are in the chat, or if you comment on iTunes, 5-star review, comment on YouTube, you could be Fan of the Week.
Yes.
Not just for this show, but also for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I might pick
season
some of the
12?
AJ and the Queen comments for RuPaul's Drag Race season 12. So Billie Jean Girl joining us in the chat.
Yeah.
You are Fan of the Week.
Yay!
Thank you for joining us.
Girl, claim your prize. Look under your chair right now. If you're listening to this or watching it, look under your chair. Yeah.
That's scary.
Just don't look to us for news about which Elizabeth is on
Yeah,
television.
exactly.
Yes.
Because we don't know, girl.
There's many Elizabeths. That's for
Yes.
sure.
So Mark, quote of the week?
Quote of the week this week. I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but when it's actually Lady Danger after she gets off the phone with Damien and she goes back in the cell and she just says, "You're in my spot." But I don't know why.
I
I
did
just
like that too.
thought it was so funny. I literally laughed out loud. I don't know. That's it, because I'm weird like that. I also loved at the end when Rue's pushing AJ on the gurney and she says, "Tiny corpse coming through." That was funny too.
Yes.
But yeah, Lady Danger gets my quote of the week.
So I have some news and gossip.
Let us know.
So the Super Bowl is coming up,
Uh-oh.
and Ms. Cracker and Kimchi are going to be in a Super Bowl ad.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Congrats.
They're going to be in a commercial for Sabra Hummus.
Oh, I love hummies.
So we're about to discover what drag queens and hummus have to do
Have
with
in
each
common.
other.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll make you guys my hummus. It's better than Sabro.
Okay, that sounds great.
Bring it for the season 12.
Season 12.
Say no more. He
Okay.
actually brought some right
We're
now.
gonna-
Look under your chair.
we're gonna leave.
Billie Jean girl, you got some hummus from Mark
Yes.
under your chair.
Yes. Actually, look in the cushion
We're gonna
couches.
have
We
garlic
stuffed
bread.
it in there.
Episode 1.
RuPaul's Drag Race Live is a show in Vegas that's happening
Yes, at
right
the
now
Flamingo.
and running. Yes, at the Flamingo
Flamingo.
and running through February 13th. And in case you were worried, there is a soundtrack you can buy to the live show.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
here for that.
So it must be all their own numbers.
Oh, like their music?
Well,
Because I know some of the queens.
I don't think so. It might be like a mix of like little Rue stuff, a little like, it's like, it may be like a dance mix album. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And then DragCon LA is May
First, second, and third? I
1st,
think?
2nd, and 3rd. Yeah.
Now we have to put this in the air that we're gonna do a AfterBuzz DragCon live.
Table by the bathroom.
Yes.
First, second, and third, yeah.
Yes, I want that to happen.
Come see us as you're on your way to the toilet.
And bring your tomatoes.
And Lorraine Love has some news.
I do?
Yeah, you're performing. on
Oh,
February
that.
3rd.
Yes,
Okay,
for
I
the
was like, I didn't
plug-in.
know I have news. So a week from yesterday. Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
The
My time's
third?
running out. I'll be at Mickey's on Monday, February 3rd.
It's in my
We're excited.
calendar.
Put it in your calendar if you're in the Los Angeles area. Come check it out.
And do you guys have any other news before we go
well,
into the
for-
next
I
episode?
have-
Well, I'm not having a baby. That's news.
Any sequester news?
No. The finale airs tomorrow, Wednesday the 29th. I made the top 5 once again,
Yay.
so we get to pick a winner. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, type in Sequester Season 3 and spend your whole life catching up on it before the finale. Thank you. Yay.
Stan. What are you looking at me for?
thought you had
I have some
news.
news. The LA LGBT Center recently got under fire because I don't know if you guys heard, but the whole testing issue about lack of funding from the DPH or DHB? Which one is it? Anyway, so they're going to continue free testing and treatment until March.
Yes.
And it's a temporary solution until they figure out. Hopefully, it was nice because a lot of people raised their voice from the outcry about it possibly being not free anymore. And a lot of people, a lot of queer people don't have access to health care or, insurance. So I think it's such an important research for the queer community. So just keep on using your voice and call, email, use your voice in order to keep this resource alive for the queer people in LA. So I just
I
wanted
think Willem tweeted a petition, I want to say.
yeah.
So
Until at the end of March 2020, which is this year, it's still going to be free. So, just be safe and use protection with your sexual encounters. So
Or just sit at home and listen to us every week.
that'll be good
Right
birth
there.
control.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Hello.
You guys, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned in a couple minutes when we recap episode 9.
Yeah.
I am your host, 123 Jackie B. You can find me at 123 Jackie B on all platforms. Mark, where can they find you?
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lorraine Love. That's LORAYNE LOVE.
Yes, and you can watch me flex it on the gram. Follow me at Who Is Jayla Roxx. I just coughed my lungs out. So that's 2 X's 3 if you're nasty.
and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Baldy Dreamer.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.